Hello and welcome to 10x Growth Talk. This is John. I'm here with Jackie, and this week's subject is going to be on money, how to manage money and how to get better at saving money. And we're going to talk about a meeting we call PEP. Let's go ahead and get started. So what's the biggest problem we have in the US and other countries is that we don't learn how to manage money. It's not a subject taught at school. It's not a subject that we learn at home sometimes. And I know when I was growing up, nobody really sat down with me and said, hey, John, this is how you have to manage money. And I didn't really learn in the young days, and I blew a lot of money. And I want to talk about what some of the biggest problems are. There was a National Council of Economic Education testing done, and it was done on 1,010 adults and high school students. And what they found out is the basic principles of money, just the basic knowledge of, you make money and what do you do with money and, how do you plan the future. These were the test results they got. So I'm going to read it off. Out of adults, 6% got an A. Out of the 1,010 adults, 6% got an A. 10% got a B. 15% got a C. And 20% got a D. And we had almost half, 49% that failed. Just the basic principles of money. Once you make it, what do you do with it? More than half of the adults failed. And on high school students, actually the numbers were almost the same. So you had 3% of adult, 3% of high school students that got an A, 7% that got a B, 11% that got a C, 13% D, and 66% failed. So adults, high school students were the same, right? This shows that the basic principles and understanding of what you do with money is really important. And this is one of the biggest problems. This is why so many people live month to month or week to week and paycheck to paycheck, is because they don't understand what they have to do with money once they earn it. So we're going to talk about that right now.
Thank you, John. Well, as someone who's made plenty of my own money mistakes, I have to say that it really doesn't matter how much money you make, what your paycheck actually comes down to. It matters more as to what you do with it, how you budget it right. So anybody with any kind of paycheck is able to be financially secure and financially successful. You don't have to be a millionaire. You don't have to make $100,000 a year. You don't have to make $100,000 a month. Whatever your paycheck is, you have to be in complete control of what's coming and what's going. So there are 4 different ways for you to be able to control your money, and they require a lot of discipline. They require a lot of control and will to say no to yourself, first of all. And if you are able to master that, I assure you, you will be able to reach financial success. So the 4 things that I like to concentrate on is, first, you have to live below your means. Second, you have to save at least 15% of your income. Third, you have to get rid of all of your unnecessary debt. All of your credit cards gotta go. And the last thing is you have to be able to improve in yourself, make yourself better so that your earning potential grows. So just to touch up on those 4 things in a little bit more detail, live under your means basically means that if you're making $100 a day, that doesn't give you the permission to spend that $100 a day. Mm-hmm. A lot of people think like, well, my paycheck is $5,000. Well, I have a budget of $5,000, but in reality, you don't, because you have to budget for other things like savings. Many websites out there say that you have to save at least 15%. A lot of successful people save at least 20%. So right away, as soon as you get your paycheck, put 20% of it aside as if you never received it. There are many ways of saving. One of them that a lot of companies offer, including our own, is 401k. And you can always ask your supervisor to go into more detail and explain. The company actually matches a certain percentage. So that will be very beneficial to you. And the rest of the money that you get after saving, you have to divide it up in a way where all the bills are paid, everyone is satisfied, you get what you need but not necessarily what you want. The third thing is unnecessary debt. That's your credit cards. The credit cards charge astronomical fees. 29%, I've seen 25% interest rate, that you are literally taking your money and putting it down the drain.
Yeah, it's like don't spend what you don't have, right? I mean,
exactly.
I think credit card just gives us permission to postpone what we don't have to tomorrow.
You're borrowing from the future.
Exactly. Now you owe the future some money.
Puts you in a negative area, so why would you want to be there?
The TV, as people watch TV, I noticed that commercials do a great job in selling us what we don't really need.
Absolutely.
It's like this and that, and then looking around, and that's one of the talks we give as well, is not comparing yourself to others. I have a quick story I want to share about my son, Christian, my little guy. He's a consumer. He loves to spend money. So he comes in and he tries to sell me on what he needs. Constantly we're talking about what he needs and what he wants because he doesn't know the difference. And he thinks he needs it because he saw it and others have it. So he needs it. And really I tell him, look, you don't need it because what you need is food, you need nourishment, you need love, but you don't need a game, you don't need this and you don't need that. What you need is books and you need to go to school. So we all do that as adults as well. I think our perception of what we need and what we want is really kind of, there's really no borders.
But it's good to start teaching your children from a young age, so by the time they get to adults, they'll be in a better position of understanding what the needs and wants are and what
Absolutely.
the difference is. So absolutely, you have to control your wants. That's very, very difficult to do, but if you want to get to the big picture, you want that financial success in the end, you have to take some small sacrifices now. It's all about reaching your goals versus immediate satisfaction.
Yeah. I learned, Jackie, that women are better at managing money than men. And in my life, if you look at it, I have two women that manage all the money. My wife manages our personal finances, which she's better at it than I am. And then we have Susie that manages the finances at work. And I don't know anybody, more better or cares more about the money. And it's an example of my life. I mean, I was somebody that didn't know about money and I blew a lot of money in the past. And I believe, and you hear this as well, I heard it in a podcast early this week, that women are just better with money. They understand more about what to do with it. So if you're the man of the house and you're taking care of the money and your wife is better at it, what I would do is I would release and give her charge of all the money and live off of a budget. If you're the one that's blowing the money, then let her manage the money.
I agree with that. I mean, same thing in my life. My mom's always been better at taking care of money, even though she hasn't really worked. But men are better at making money, but women are better at saving and figuring out what to do for the family to reach financial success. So absolutely, I do agree with that. And everybody in the family needs to be on the same page. So when you are sitting down and doing your monthly expenses, involve all the people in the family so you're all pulling in the same direction.
Absolutely.
So you all understand exactly where you are now and where you want to be and the path of how to get there.
What we do here is we do budgeting for the company, and your personal finances are no different. Money in and money out and what's left at the end of the day. So what we do is, we figure out how much we want to do as sales as a company. We break it down by each unit, and then we break it down by each category and what we spend in each category, and we compare it with other companies and industry standards and stuff like that. And they have all of that actually for personal finances as well. And Jackie does an incredible job of sharing that at our PEP meetings, going in there, giving you a financial statement, and then talking about all of the different expenses, like rent, food, and all the other stuff. And if you have a household income of a certain amount coming in, you have to have a certain amount going out or nothing's going to be left, right?
Exactly. Or even worse, you may end up being in a negative, which a lot of times when we do our example, we find out that people are in a negative and they don't even know about it.
Yeah.
So it's very important to know.
Right.
It's all about having control over what's coming and what's going.
If you want to know more about this, we welcome you to join our PEP meetings. We have it every month, and there is a hour and a half, almost 2-hour class where there's a fun game as well that we play, and Jackie leads that discussion of that class, and it just teaches us how to manage money better. So this is this week's version of 10X Growth Talk. Thank you, Jackie, for joining me. I hope everybody has a great week and the rest of the year. Bye-bye.
Bye.